Okay, hello and welcome to Demo 9, where we're going to basically, I'm thinking about this course as having 3 parts. So during the first couple months of our class, we went over the fundamentals and we really dove into the details of what every function did and what it all, or I tried to describe what it all meant. And so now in part 2, as we move forward, we are going to do demos still. We're going to just practice with copying some code as well. And whenever you're copying, especially if you're copying somebody else's code that you didn't write, in your script, just comment above the section of code. Do a little comment and give them credit, whoever you're using or whatever you used for that if you didn't write it. Here we're going to talk about motion capture and computer vision. Computer vision is essentially just using the camera as an eye to detect things in the real world and then have your script change based off of real world data. You can use computer vision for things like facial recognition, motion detection, which is what we'll focus on. You could do color recognition, you could do light detection. So the first thing, very simply, that we want to do, access to our camera. Let the script access the camera. So first thing we need to do is we need to pull the camera data. So let's create a variable called cam. This is our camera capture. And in the setup function, we'll create a video capture object by using the function called createCapture. And you can come into the P5 references and read a little bit more about the description of what camera capture is specifically, or createCapture, sorry. So in the function setup, we'll do cam equals createCapture, and in all caps inside of the parentheses, just put video. It turns pink because the P5 recognizes this as an object. And then, so right now we have the camera playing underneath our canvas because it's an object right now. So we could hide this by doing cam.hide, and it would still, the camera would still be recognizing the video, so that we could then use elements from the video to change other things in the script. We could map our motion to color or size of ellipses or something like that. And also I just want to note that I'm screen recording and using my webcam for creating these videos, and I had to turn off the webcam, turn off the screen record, and get out of what I'm using as OBS Studio. So I had to exit out of OBS Studio in order for this to work in the script, and then pull the studio up again and take out the video. So yeah, I can't use the video in both of the applications. Cool, so let's do cam, actually above the hide, cam.hide, we'll do cam.size width height. So it's going to be the size of our canvas now. Ta-da. And then we could do window inner width, inner height for our size. And then in order to draw the image, like say we want the video here to be on our canvas here, in the draw loop, we will just do use the image function. We'll call the cam, call our object, place it at 0, 0, and let's see what happens. Cool. So now we've got 2 videos, and now we can come back to that cam.hide and just hide that second one. And now we just see it, the one video on the canvas. I just want to do, cool. So you could put cam 0, 0 width height, which is like the first point and the end point, I guess. Let's just test this by doing width divided by 2, height divided by 2. So yeah, point 1 and last point. But if you just put 0, 0, then it draws on the entire window. And let's make it bigger. Yep. Cool. So that is how we get the data from the camera. A couple more things that I want to do before we get into motion detection is that I just want you to know that down here, whenever we're drawing that capture, now we can like go and like manipulate it. So we could put a filter on it and do one of the filters, it's called threshold. Filter threshold. And so it changes the look. You could do the filter gray. You could do the invert filter. And then you could like make the video, the camera size, maybe smaller at 50. So it captures a little tiny video. And you could then, well, you could draw like a bunch of little videos, actually even bigger, 300. Yeah, it's better. And then wherever we place it, it will be at the mouse X, mouse Y. Ta-da! We could do image mode center. Bloop, 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 bloop. Mouse X, mouse Y. Haha. So this is like, I'm doing like image mode center, and it's changing this is like 0.1 and 0.2. So like it's changing the width and the height here. So that's kind of fun. And then what else can we do? Oh yeah, let's do like for the background, I'm going to change the alpha value here. Whee! So we can see like the tracing effect, and even let's just get rid of the background. Yeah. So mouse. So I changed the background to, instead of 0.5, I changed it to 50 because the alpha value is from a range from 0 to 100. In processing, it's a range from 0 to 1, so I always get those confused. So now you sort of have like a little tracing effect. And then if we come and we don't hide our cam, we can see below like the original video. Yay. So yeah, that's just an example of some ways you can like be more creative with the video. Okie, so now that we've learned how to capture data from the camera to access our computer vision, we just need a basic understanding of what a pixel array is, because in order to do the motion detection sketch, we're going to basically like read all of the pixels in the camera capture and compare them to each other. So here in the sketch, we'll do a quick pixel array. So what you need to do first is just call the function load pixels, and this just like grabs all the canvas pixels, and if you undo the background here and we'll press play, we've got window inner width, window inner height, but say we put this to like 700, well, load pixels is going to take its time to like load 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way to 700 by 700. It's loading all of these gray pixels. So I'm going to comment out the background. Another thing that we have to have is update pixels, and in between load pixels and update pixels, that's where we're going to change the pixels. So if you change pixels, you need to have update pixels, or else you're not going to see the change happen. So inside of load pixels and update pixels, we are just going to create a nested for loop, which is similar to how we created the grid in previous tutorials. This nested for loop will just we'll make pixel arrays, and it'll cycle through all of the pixels on the canvas. And it's also a way to change the pixel color on canvas. The way to make a nested for loop, just a reminder, is you'll start with for let x equal 0 if x is less than width, then add to x, so x plus plus, open close bracket. Inside of that for loop, you just put another one and you call it y equals 0 if y is less than height, y plus plus, and then open close squigglies. So that's an empty nested for loop. So within this, we're going to create a variable called letIndex because we're going to be making pixel arrays. So if you recall from the array tutorial, within the brackets of an array, you've got an index number. So our index number is going to equal to x plus y times width. So x plus y times width. And we're going to scale that up by 4. And below our index variable, we're going to change pixels with arrays, and we're going to create 4 arrays. One will act as the R, one will act as the G, one will act as the B, and one will act as the A for alpha. Notice we're not doing color mode HSB here. We're going to keep it at its default color mode, which is RGB. And so here I'm just going to do pixels array. Inside of that, I'll just do index equals, if this is R, we'll just do 255. So RGB has a range of 0 to 255. Pixels index equals 255. So we're going to copy that, and we're just going to make 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 total. This one is going to act as our B, RG, RG. The third one is our B, and the fourth array is our alpha value. So they're all the same right now, but if we do index plus 1 and index plus 2 and index plus 3, so x plus y times width times 4, and then you just add 1, 2, and 3 to change the position. Now if we just go ahead and press play, we've got a white background, and so say we want no red pixels, so we're gonna have a blue background. If we want no green pixels, purple background. So actually the alpha value would be from 0 to 100, I believe. So let's change this to 50, and we'll have a lower saturation. If we change this to Y, we've got this sort of gradient happening. Change this to X. So you can play around with a gradient here. And I'm just going to do green 200 maybe. Yeah. So that is how we make a nested for loop and read every pixel on the canvas. So the next sketch that we're going to do, using the camera capture or createCapture and pixel array, we're going to create motion detection. So let's do file new, and here in this one, as I said before, we're getting to the point in class where we've gone over the fundamentals, and since this is a design or an interaction design course and not a computer science course, I think that now that y'all understand the fundamentals, we know how to make arrays, for loops, and things like that, I'm gonna be more accepting of just copy pasting certain code. So with motion detection, since that is something that is really common, and a lot of people, I mean, it's not one person's art piece is motion detection. You're not going to be stealing somebody's work. We can go ahead and just like copy paste it and treat it as a container. And here in the Discord, under the resources tab in code, I have a couple different lines of code. One is by Daniel Schiffman, who has the coding trade on YouTube, which is really helpful for beginner creative coders. I put his code for motion detection on our Discord because he has literally created this to teach people how to do it. And so because of that, he adds all of these comments on what everything means and create an empty image the same as the camp. So that's just, if you want to know what the heck is happening, look at his version of motion detection and read over his comments. But for some reason, and the way that he writes his motion detection is what, like using threshold and stuff, that's what I've done in previous projects. But for some reason, whenever I do this with P5, because I've played with processing and motion detection before, and it's worked just fine, but in P5, for whatever reason, his code makes my computer run slow. So instead, I'm going to use this motion detection by Best E Sailor, and I'm just gonna copy paste. So copy all of that, and the difference is like this person's code doesn't have any of those comments that are really very helpful. So you could come back up and look at all of these comments and actually like copy and paste them into this code too, because essentially they're doing the same thing. If you like look at the code very closely, I think var scalar is like the same thing as let threshold here. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it does the same thing. And like pre-frame for the second line of code is just going to be the same thing as prev frame, previous frame. So they're just naming it differently. But all in all, the code is doing the same thing. So I copied that, I'm just gonna paste it. What I'm hoping y'all do is edit this is what you could practice with. Edit the following code to create an image with motion detection. So if we press play, we can see that the video, so var video is being displayed. So our canvas is a little bit small. I'll just read through. We're using pixel density again, where instead of cam, she's calling it video, but it's creating capture video. The size is width divided by 10 here. And then she's making a pre-frame and create image, similar to createCapture. She's creating an image of the video width, video height. So you can imagine this as you've got your video, and then like underneath it, you've got like a ghost of that video. So there's two layers of the same thing. And basically like what we're seeing here is when those two layers like shift. So like look, my hand, it's not moving at all. So the video and the previous frame are in the same position. So it's not detecting any motion, except for whenever I do move. But if I move it, you see all of that red. So the previous frame and the video, the original video, it's catching up to one another, sort of. Imagine like a tracing effect. And when the motion is detected, or basically when there's a difference between the previous frame pixel and the video pixel, motion is detected and red rectangles appear. That's basically what's happening. So video.load pixels, that's loading the video pixels. Previous frame is loading that ghost image, the ghost image pixels. Right here, we've got the nested for loop again. It's reading all of the pixels. And then here we've got previous frame RGB A, or this is bright, so this is a little bit different. And then we've got video RGB. So you have to do it for both. You have to do it for like the previous frame pixels, and you have to create it for the video pixels. And then bright is something, maybe, I think bright is just a way to display the video. So like if we take away here where it's filling in with bright, say we take that away, we're not going to be able to see the video itself. Yeah, we just see the red. So, so that's what's happening here. This var difference, or diff for difference. So like I said, it's calculating the difference between P RGB and RGB. That it's doing that right here. So that's what this distance function is doing. Measuring the distance between R and PR, G and PG, B and PB. So like if the difference is less than 15, then fill these pixels with bright, which is the video. If the difference is greater than 15, fill with red, right? So everything that we kind of see is happening in this if statement here. So if you want to go and you want to like change the image, like we're going to use all of this as a container, but we want to like change what is being displayed, well, that's all going to happen here. And then you can change, like, for instance, if you change the rect to ellipse, what do you get? Something like that. So you can start to edit this code and create your own unique visualization. And then the last thing that I want to say here too is you need this bit at the bottom. So let's comment it out. Oh, I guess you don't need it actually. The previous frame dot copy is allowing us to actually like see the video image. Let's play with this in a second. So first thing we're gonna do is I wanna change this number to threshold. She uses var. I'm not totally sure what even, like I know that let, so like var I guess is a more stable variable. Like it's a variable that isn't gonna change, and like let is a variable that does change. So you do var for threshold equals, and we'll say 200. So threshold being the sensitivity of motion. And so now instead of, you know, coming down here and changing the number, I can just have my sensitivity meter here at the top. And I don't have to like scroll through my code and try to find it. So let's say if the difference is less than threshold, so if I don't move, then nothing happens. But if I do move, then I want to fill a text that says, quote, I'm moving. And then you have to place it. So we'll do width divided by 2, height divided by 2, just like right in the middle. And for text, we, similar to like rect mode, center, image mode, center, we have to do text align, and you have to do all caps center, comma, all caps center. So you have to type in that X and Y. And then we're gonna do a text, I believe it's size, yeah. And we'll do a text size of 100. And you can fill it with some different color. I think I'll just do fill with black for right now. And let's just press play and see what happens. You can see that I'm moving here, but we need to put in a background. And we'll go to our color picker and select the background we want. And from the RGB, since that's what we're using, come back in here, put a color, blue. So we've got a blue background. And it's still got these dots because of this right here. So if you just want to get rid of that. And then whenever I move, the text appears. Cool, so that's how you work with motion detection. And I just want to emphasize one more thing, that if the difference is less than threshold, so threshold is kind of an important number. I've got it at 200, which is like a high sensitivity. Right now I am talking and it is not saying that I'm moving even though my lips are moving. But I don't want to like, since the sensitivity is 200, it's not reading that small little movement. But say you like change the sensitivity to like 10, and like now I'm talking and it is sensing that movement here. You see? So if you want a higher sensitivity and you really want somebody to actually like, you know, move their hand, you need to up the threshold. So now I can talk like this, and just whenever I move my hand, does it appear. So cool, so that's all we have for today. Just practice with this motion detection. It's not, there's no assignment yet. I'm gonna give an assignment on Thursday, but for now, just like kind of garner ideas for like what you might wanna do or play with when it comes to motion detection. Have a great week, good luck on midterms, and happy coding.